Penguin Random House Audio presents Resistance is Futile. How the Trump-hating left lost its collective mind. This is the author, Ann Coulter. For Floyd Resnick. Chapter 1. The Resistance. Trump is Hitler times infinity. There is a whole group of Americans whose sole political position is, we hate Trump. From the moment he won the election, it has been total war against the president, like nothing this country has experienced before. The left is in a panic. The liberal position on any issue can be summarized as, where's Trump on this? Oh, that's awful. Things that never bothered liberals in the past, Russia, vulgarity, the supremacy clause, are now hateful. The things they used to hate have become beloved institutions. The FBI, the CIA, Mormons, and the Bush family. The resistance doesn't care about Trump's positions. They couldn't name his positions. The problem is aesthetic. Liberals can't abide having that vulgarian in the Oval Office. Yes, liberals thought Bush was an ignorant boob, but they mostly expressed their disdain with dismissive eye rolls. They held Reagan in contempt, confused about how to respond to a confident conservative, something they'd never encountered before. No one could say Nixon was dumb, so he was mocked as weird and stiff. Trump is something different. It's not only who he is that enrages them, but whom he replaced. Liberals absolutely adored Obama, often obscenely so. Liberal women openly boasted about dreaming of having sex with him. Even MSNBC's Chris Matthews got a thrill up his leg. They didn't care about Obama's positions either. He's the mirror image of Trump. Obama was cool, elegant, slender, looked great in clothes. The fact that he was black was just a super bonus. Fanatically supporting Obama meant they got to have a black friend. Liberals liked that he was against the Iraq War, but would have supported him even if he weren't. To go from Obama to the crudest kind of parvenu, bragging about his wealth and IQ with gold-plated everything, was too much. It would be like having Fred Astaire as your president and then getting Rodney Dangerfield. We get it, liberals. You hate Trump. But you've convinced yourselves that he poses some kind of existential threat when your real objection is that you think he's a douchebag. The resistance thinks indignation gives their apoplexy dignity. Instead of admitting they're enraged that this clown moved into Obama's house, liberals say, the nation is in crisis. On election night, NBC's Mark Halperin informed Stephen Colbert's audience, outside of the Civil War, World War II, and including 9/11, this may be the most cataclysmic event the country's ever seen. Since then, it's been a game of one-upmanship to see who can issue the most shocking denunciation of Trump. Liberals weren't always this excitable. They used to pride themselves on their detached view of the passing scene, sneering at the lowbrow's tendency to overreact. I thought the whole thing about being cool was to be cool. But since Trump's election, liberals are the ones hyperventilating over nothing and devoting their lives to demented conspiracy theories. Conservatives are the cool ones, refusing to freak out over every little thing. Remember that time Trump invaded Poland? If you're into self-dramatization, Donald Trump's presidency is perfect for you. You get to be the princess who first felt the pee under 15 layers of mattresses. I'm afraid. Psychologists are treating patients for Trump anxiety. Plotting and not bright writers have produced lengthy historical analogies comparing Trump to Hitler, George Wallace, and Bull Connor, breathless with their sense of the inherent drama. As I predicted, the New York Times' David Brooks was one of the first out of the box with a column on Trump's, quote, authoritarian personality. In a deadly earnest column, he warned that Trump was making, quote, the argument of nearly every demagogue since the dawn of time. Trump, he said, was playing on fears that had proved to be contagious and moved populations. Like George Wallace, the GOP nominee was presiding over less a party than a personality cult. Trump's supporters just thought they were being lied to, which they were. They thought they were being dismissed, which they were. The ruling class can do that for only so long before people begin to notice. Days before Trump's inauguration, John Dean said, "The American presidency has never been at the whims of an authoritarian personality like Donald Trump." You could predict every hysterical column. Watching the rise of Donald Trump, I am struck continually by recognition of an historical epoch that I had naively hoped was well buried in the past. Trump's candidacy has released all the darkest passions. Who am I talking about? A man who came to power in a faraway country about 80 years ago. I am afraid for my country. Very afraid. Very, very afraid. Very, very, very afraid. Then Trump got into office, and his problem was almost exactly the opposite. He has a suck-up personality. I don't remember Hitler or Stalin going around saying, "These people are great, incredible, outstanding, quality people." The resistance is alarmed at all the nice things Trump says about Putin. This is what he said about North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. He's got a great personality. He's a funny guy. He's very smart. He's a great negotiator. He loves his people. Not that I'm surprised by that, but he loves his people. It's way more annoying when he says this stuff about Chuck Schumer than when he says it about Kim or Putin. Trump is utterly undisciplined, runs his mouth, flatters everyone, and agrees with the last person he spoke to. Why, it's right out of the Mein Kampf playbook. In May 2018, the New York Times ran a review of former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright's book, Fascism, A Warning, titled, "Can It Happen Here?" The reviewer, Columbia professor Sherry Berman, wrote, "There are worrying parallels, warning Republicans that they must not allow the fervidness of Trump supporters to blind them to the danger to democracy that he represents." If that's what they're putting in the Times, you can imagine what the half-brights are saying. Unlike regular stupid people who know they're stupid, our media and showbiz elites think they're geniuses. They have a mollusk's grasp of historical concepts. Hitler, bad. Nazi, bad. Fascist, bad. Therefore, what's the worst thing Trump could be? Hitler. Trump is just like Hitler trying to nail Playboy playmates. It's Hitlerian to defund Planned Parenthood, i.e., the closest our government comes to mass mechanized slaughter. Most of the things Trump does are neither here nor there, but some are kind of the opposite of Hitler. Attacking other countries on a flimsy pretext actually is Hitlerian. We bombed Syria for the same reason Hitler invaded the Sudetenland. Does anybody remember how the resistance reacted to that? MSNBC's Brian Williams soliloquized, "We see these beautiful pictures at night from the decks of these 2 U.S. Navy vessels in the eastern Mediterranean. I am tempted to quote the great Leonard Cohen. I am guided by the beauty of our weapons. And they are beautiful pictures of fierce armaments making what is, for them, a brief flight over to this airfield. What did they hit? The virtue-signaling industrial complex. When the angel Obama was president, we always heard, "Never before has a president met with such instantaneous opposition to his very existence." He faced unprecedented levels of obstruction. An alleged conservative Republican senator, John McCain, announced that the Republican base's hatred of Mr. Obama was frightening. Obama was said to be genuinely startled by the intensity of the polarization he encountered. Poor Obama!
Sample complete. Ready to continue?